Hello everybody, it's Catherine from Jayne Catherine on Books, and what a glorious Friday it is today. It's beautiful weather, it's just like summer, so I thought I'd sit out in the garden. Not had a chance to get out much, and with me having the dreaded shingles and the dreaded horse pills that go with it, yeah, feel so much better than I did, and it's nice to sit in the garden and read. So I thought I'm going to do a bit of an unhaul. That takes some saying. Unhaul today. Some have been on my shelf for so long and I've not picked them up, so they need to go and make space. And there's one or two that I have read and I'm not going to read again, so yeah, they can go as well and somebody else can enjoy them. So the first one is called The Seven Sisters, and this is by Margaret Drabble. And I was just reading about her, and actually she's got a CBE for her work with literature, which I've never read anything of hers before, and I must have got it 2 years ago. It's from Barter Books up in Northumberland. As you know, we like to go up there and get some second-hand books, and Northumberland's a lovely part of Britain to go and visit. But it's been on my shelves for 2 years. It's women's fiction. It's I think it's literary fiction. It's looking at sisterhood, really. Friends together, how they look after each other, and it's featuring Candida, who lives on her own in London. She's divorced and she's not got much money, but she feels that she wants to go on this long wanted road trip that she's fancied doing, so she gathers up a group of friends and off they go. The 6 travelling companions, women friends from childhood, from married life and after, and Candida maps out the journey she has long dreamed of: Tunis, Naples and Pompeii. And she has realised that one can make anything happen if one has the nerve. See, you read these and think, oh, I don't know why I'm getting rid of them. I need the space. So yeah, The Seven Sisters, Margaret Drabble. The 15 Lives of Harry August, quite a well-known book on BookTube. Claire North. I first came across this in my library group and everybody was raving about it. I didn't realise that Claire North is also Catherine Webb. Didn't know that. Another one from Barter Books, and this is a bit of a dystopian, and it's about Harry August, who goes through 15 lives, a day in the life of him at a railway station, I believe, and how each of the days he relives that same day 15 times and different things develop. It's been on my shelf a while. I've decided to get rid of it. I recently tried to read another one of Claire North's. I can't think what it was now, and I really couldn't get into the writing style. So yeah, I know this is definitely in my library, so if I do decide to read it, I can get it from there. Next one I've read, this is Black Flowers by Steve Mosby. This is a thriller, and I've read this and I quite enjoyed it. And it says a girl appears from nowhere carrying nothing but a black flower and her horrifying story. And it's a bit of a police procedural as well, and yeah, it's quite a good read. Didn't blow me away, but I enjoyed it. I think it was a 3-star or something like that, 3.5, and I won't read it again, because you tend to know with thrillers, you know what the twists and turns are. Helicopter coming over now. Helicopter coming over. What happens? This is all part of filming. Sounds a bit low. Right. Bit of impromptu filming of a helicopter. I don't know who it is. I don't think it was somebody rich and famous flying over. I didn't like how close it was there. Anyway, we always get this, don't we? We do have to smile. We always get something happening. Right, another one that I've read and I enjoyed, but I won't read again. It's The Sick Rose by Erin Kelly, very well-known author here on BookTube. I remember doing a review of He Said, She Said for NetGalley, And yeah, I enjoyed this. It's a good thriller. Paul's led his life of crime. Paul has been led into a life of crime by his schoolyard protector, Daniel. Now at 19, he must bear witness against his friend to avoid imprisonment. So while they're waiting for this trial to go ahead, Paul goes taken off somewhere else, and he's helping on one of these horticultural programs where they hope to reform prisoners. And a bit of everything thrown in here, really. I think the past catches up with him at some stage, and yeah, there's a bit of romance in there. Well written book, enjoyed it, but somebody else can have the benefit now. Next, Pictou Beer, Pigs in Space, Kitty Fitzgerald. And goodness me, I must have had this on, it's 2 or 3 years I hauled this, and I've not read it. This came from Barter Books as well in Northumberland, and beautifully crafted. It says Pictou Beer is narrated by 2 different voices of Jack and Holly, a pair whose unlikely bond formed around the pigs Jack rears in secret. And I thought I quite fancied that, but it's been there, I've not picked it up. It sounds an interesting book. Split narratives there, if you like that sort of thing. Doesn't say how old they are, I don't think. Yeah, probably sort of teenage years if he was raising some pigs in secret, I would have thought. But does it say on there? By Faber? No, it doesn't. But anyway, that's going to my second-hand shop, and I think somebody will enjoy that one. Next, we've got The Palace of Treason. This is book 2 in a trilogy, and actually the first one's being made into a movie. And Red Sparrow, do you think it's called, David? Something like that. Red Sparrow, very thrilling, very James Bond-esque, spies, rooting, tooting, shooting and all that. And I've not read it. I don't think I'm going to read it. David read it and loved it and gave it 5 stars. He doesn't want book 1 because obviously he's seen the film now. So he's waiting for book 3, which, do you know what book 3 is called? I can't remember. But there's a book 3 in this series, so it's The Palace of Treason, Jason Matthews. Published by Penguin. And yeah, I saw clips of the film, a bit too rooting shooting for me. Very gory in the film, and I don't mind a bit of gore, but I'm not going to read this. David said he won't read it again. He's going to read book 3. Can't wait to get that. So yeah, may as well go and somebody else enjoy it. Next one, Alice Bliss, Laura Harrington. And this is from, this is from our local second-hand shop. Mrs. I nearly called it Mrs. Doubtfire's. I always want to call it Mrs. Doubtfire's. Mrs. Lofthouser's in Scarborough, not Mrs. Doubtfire. That was my boys love Mrs. Doubtfire film. This is a debut novel by Laura Harrington, and it's a story of friendship, love, grief and growing up. Alice Bliss is 15. She's smart, funny and clever, not afraid to stand up for the things she believes in. She idolises her father. When he leaves home to fight a war she doesn't believe in, Alice is distraught. A powerful coming-of-age story. So it sounds like a YA. Sounds really interesting now. When I read them again, I don't know why I've not read that. But I really need to make some space. So yeah, it's going to go. So that's Alice Bliss, Laura Harrington. One I've had on my shelf forever, and it's a brand new book and it's not been touched, and I've put it back I don't know how many times, and it's not one that I think David's likely to read. So it's A Lady Cyclist's Guide to Kashgar, and it's by Suzanne Johnson. And I love, as you know, I love my books set in India and in the Indian continent and the Asian continent. I also like historical fiction, this is set in 1923. But it's been on my shelf for 3 years, and I read the blurb and I think, do you know, this sounds really good. I'll put it back and I'll read it. I won't unhaul it this time. And I've still not read it, so I'm going to send it to the library, because if you take new books to the library, they put them in the system. They don't tend to sell off library books, well, certainly don't in our area. They'll put them into the system for people to get pleasure from in the library, so I'd rather do that. And then I can always borrow it from the library, can't I? Impressive debut, it says here. So 1923, Evangeline English, keen lady cyclist, arrives with her sister Lizzie and their zealous leader Millicent at the ancient city of Kashgar to establish a mission. As they encounter resistance and calamity, Eva commences work on her book. But then we've got a split-time narrative in present-day London. Another story is beginning. Frida, a young woman adrift in her own life, opens her front door one night to find a man sleeping on the landing. In the morning he is gone, leaving on the wall an exquisite drawing of a long-tailed bird and a line of Arabic script. As their worlds collide, the two wanderers begin an unlikely friendship, and they embark on a journey that is great, as unexpected as Eva's. You see, I don't want to get rid of it now I've read it again. I'll have to think about that. Let me know if you read this one and I should read it. Because this is what I do. I keep thinking I've not read it. I'll put it back on the shelves. I read this and I think, oh, that really excites me. Split time narratives, which I love. 1923, you know. I think it's the thing I probably took. What's she going to do on this cycling? She's going to cycle around India and make me feel tired. We'll see. I'll put that as a... Oh, I don't know. This one I've accidentally bought when I've already got it. Typical. But this is what happens when you've got too many and you need to clear your shelves out, don't you? You forget what you've got. So this is The Mistaken Wife, and it's by Rose and Melican. And if you've read The Blackstone Key, or if you recall, I think I've hauled The Blackstone Key. That's the first in, I think it's going to be a trilogy. I'm not sure if it's going to continue, but there's a trilogy at the moment. So book one is The Blackstone Key. Book two is The Counterfeit Guest. And then book three is The Mistaken Wife. We've got all three. They're all in different sizes. This is in mass market paperback size. And David's just finished book one in mass market paper. No, you've read book one and two. Very small writing. It's taken him forever. He needs a bit of light relief now. I'm really looking forward to this. It's historical fiction. Book three set in 1797 and Napoleon's forces are sweeping through Europe. A young woman travels to Paris, risking her life on a secret mission that may buy Britain vital time, right up High Street. So yeah, I need to crack on. But yeah, this can go to the library or go into circulation. It's brand new. Bought two. I think I got this in a recent haul from the works, I think. And yeah, already got it. And then finally, I've got one by Jeffrey Deaver, who's, oh, there's a bookmark in this one. Don't know, it's got one random book. Why not let us pick your next read? onerandombook.co.uk. I don't know where I got this from. It's new, but it's got an old bookmarking from somewhere. I just don't fancy it. I don't know why, because he's a well-known author is Jeffrey Deaver. It's a scout thriller, so whether this is part of a series, and that's why I decided not. It says, don't miss Jeffrey Deaver's other location scout thrillers, Bloody River, Blues and Hell's Kitchen. So obviously it's part of a series, and I think this is probably book three, so I'm not bothered about starting at book three. John Pelham has been in the trenches of filmmaking with a promising Hollywood career until tragedy sidetracked him. Now he's a location scout, travelling the country in search of shooting sites for films. Yeah, you see, I decided I think it was a bit too contemporary, this Hollywood setting for me, and I just don't fancy it. So yeah, that's going. So there we go. That's a little unhaul for you. I'm really pleased to be sending some books to the library for other people to be enjoying, and I will swap some of we're hoping to get to barter books soon. We haven't managed to get up this year yet. I think it was last October when we went, that sort of time, September, October last year when we went. There's another plane there. The plane. This is what you get living near the coast. It's lovely, really. Yes, so we're due a trip up to Bartabooks. We're getting a bit of a, what is it? We're missing our Northumberland fix, so hopefully we'll be getting up there soon, and there'll be a book call from there, hopefully, for you. So thank you for joining me as usual. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.